accusations and declarations swirl the corridors of power, it's easy to get distracted and embroiled by what's playing out on our political scenes. But outside of Parliament, stories of injustice and persecution fight to be heard. And the UK government hosted their first International Freedom of Religion or Belief conference. Hundreds of faith leaders, including some staff members from the Evangelical Alliance, foreign ministers and NGOs came together to discuss and agree action to tackle religious discrimination. The Open Doors 2021 watch list found that 1 in 7 Christians around the world are persecuted for their faith. And as one body, we are to hurt as our brothers and sisters around the globe hurt, standing with them in prayer and action for justice. We are also to listen and learn. In Iran, Farshi became a Christian when he was a teenager and later began church planting, but was eventually imprisoned for 5 years because of his ministry. And about his time in prison, he said, "On each of those days, I thought about freedom. Over time, God gave me a wider perspective. Now I'm convinced that our calling as Christians is to stand up for freedom of all, not only Christians. Moreover, I have come to see Christian ministry as largely a fight for freedom, a fight for freedom in Christ for those held captive by sin or the challenges and pain of life." Desmond Tutu once wrote that to be human is to be free. But where do we find this freedom? Do we look to an oppressor that we need to be liberated from? Or do we look inward to find freedom by being true to ourselves? Farshi, despite his physical imprisonment, looked first to Christ. Freedom is found in submission to the rescuer, deliverer, and the King of Kings. And he invites us to fight for freedom for our neighbour, both locally and globally. And this is a challenge to us living in the West, and particularly in the UK, with government resignations dominating this week's news over the principle of integrity, and so often churches that replicate the culture we live in. But we should look first to Jesus, and then our brothers and sisters in other parts of the world that so often have a deeper and richer understanding of integrity and freedom.